Hi, it's Hazel. Welcome to my channel, Hazel and Aka Design. If you are new here, welcome. If you are a previous viewer, subscriber, welcome back. One thing that I think I can confidently say about this channel is that there is never a dull moment. So this almost falls under the category of a public service announcement. What you're looking at, of course, are snippet rolls. And they are a combination of all fabric or all textiles, lace, that sort of thing, or fabric and paper. And when I first got turned on to snippet rolls, I thought they were the greatest thing since sliced bread, and I went berserk and made a whole bunch. And of course, I promptly didn't choose them. So it seemed I've been doing a little of, off-screen work on a boho journal that I started more than a year ago. And I was looking through some of them, and I thought, oh, that could work. This clearly could work. But I ran into a problem. So maybe I'll tell you the problem, and then we'll look at those in a little more detail. So I thought that this one, it's longer than some of the others, could have been the cat's meow in terms of a fabric snippet roll for a boho journal. There's a lot of color, there's bling, there's these little glittery ribbons, and of course it's not complete. It was just the first iteration. However, now you can probably see 3 rows of stitching there. Because, and I don't know, I'll just show you. See how these things are sort of bunched and pleated? It looks like I deliberately did that as I was gluing them down. So there was, a little bit of puckering, a little bit of lifting. And I thought to myself, oh, you know what? It would just be great for some peace of mind to add some stitching. So last night, that's what I was doing. And before too long, let me tell you what I built this thing on. Now, don't ask me what possessed me. Certainly, it wasn't thinking through the whole way through a process. Like sometimes when I see a video, I think to myself, and I guess you can decide, is that kid, me, really creative, or is she just a poor listener? So I always think, oh, what can I do in this regard based on what I have? So something possessed me to use double-sided tape. And, I emptied my garbage. I can't even show you. So last night, I peel the backing off it. Now, this isn't, see, it's not going to be accurate. Because, of course, now using a sticky backing would make sense if I were cutting them up into, clusters or something, stick it down on the paper and it's not going to budge. However, if you want to use this sort of thing as a belly band down the center of a page or a side pocket, you can't have it sticking to the paper. So, and then I'm thinking, well, how can I have to put something on here. Otherwise, it's going to stick to my table or something, and we've got a problem. So I looked at where I keep my rolls of stuff, and I have a roll of this. I would say it's interfacing. It's really lightweight, but it was obviously good enough to, as I peeled the backing off, I then lay this down. The width was pretty well perfect, so I didn't have much trimming to do. Anyway, so still oblivious. So I take it to the sewing machine and I start sewing. And then I realize, oh, damn. Just because I covered up the stickiness doesn't mean that it's not still there, gumming up my needle. So I saw that stuff was building up on the needle. So I would just sort of rub at it, remove a big glob, and keep going. It was a little hard going, again, because of these sort of pleated, pinched areas, but also because that glue was bogging things down. But I kept going. I did my 2 outside rows. I'm partway through my center row, and I realized that my bobbin thread is not doing anything. And I had already, of course, driven all the way to the end, which meant that the needle went in and out through the length of this piece, but didn't actually sew. It wasn't actually sewing. So I take it out and I clean it with a baby wipe. And so I thought, well, that's good. I'll at least finish that row stitching, and all will be right in the world. Well, do you think that I could rethread the needle? So I'm thinking, okay, yes, there's goop on the surface. There's probably gooey stuff filling the eye. So I'm poking at it with another needle and blah, blah, blah. Couldn't thread the needle for love or money. So what do you do in a case like that? Well, you wave the white flag and you go to bed. And it was 11 o'clock anyway, so it was time. Or at least head towards getting out of the studio. So wait about 12 or 15 or 17 hours, try again. I was able to thread the needle, but for whatever reason, and again, it's kind of impossible to see what's happening underneath. Do you think that I didn't run through drive the whole distance twice more with the bobbin not doing its thing? I then turned it over, and of course, the bobbin could still not have been working underneath, like on the right side, but at least it seemed to go a little bit easier, although sometimes it did come to a dead stop and so on. So anyway, for the love of God, learn from my mistake and don't ever do anything that dumb. I will be throwing this needle away because it's not worth any more of my time to clean it to the point where it will actually go through fabric. Now, I haven't tried sewing just a normal regular piece of fabric or paper to see how well it might be working. I hope that the bobbin case is not gummed up in any way either. So I don't like just laying problems at your feet. So let me show you some of the other things that I've used on these that will work considerably better. Now, where did this fall off? Maybe so. Okay, so let's just look at some of these. For some reason, I seem to have used canvas on this, which is, oh, I know. And I also used a really brittle, very old wallpaper. So I probably thought it needed stabilization. So that's the thing you're seeing here. I have not stitched through it, but I love this so much because you can see that I fussy cut around these flowers and basically just lay them down there. And I see that I have cheesecloth there as well. So I don't know what I'll do to finish this one, but that's not my primary concern right now. So canvas is legitimate. Now I could, but that would be tough. If I did want to stabilize this a bit more and ensure that everything is held down the way it should, then at some point I would stitch it. But we know that, if you go slowly and your stitches are long enough, you can sew through canvas and it will work. I could also, if I wanted maybe just to outline these things a bit, I could also hand stitch here and there. I don't think that would be particularly easy because, again, canvas is, well, let's see. I have a needle. It's not threaded, but let's just see. Suppose I wanted to go through there. Oh, well, it is possible, but it probably wouldn't be much fun. Anyway, that's not, as I said, that's not a decision for today. Then I have this one that I seem to have done on cardstock. Now, the base here is paper. I've got some stickers as well. The rest is essentially, well, it's mostly lace. A couple of appliques there. Yeah, not, maybe this little thing is fabric here, but. So, because I've already glued all these buttons down, obviously I won't be running this through a sewing machine. However, what I could do, if I wanted to, is essentially sew on these buttons. So in all those places where there are buttons as opposed to gems, it would be securing it. I have to say this is very, this is very rigid, and there's more give to that one. Okay. This one is on cardstock, again, incomplete. This one is on cardstock, incomplete. I have these little chipboard buttons on here. So I guess if I, and this is all paper, by the way. This is paper, some lace, and these little silk ribbons, or bows, I mean. That was, this has Ukrainian cross stitch and some Cyrillic alphabet there. Now on this one, it's all paper, with the exception of the buttons, but I could easily, you know, sew around them. And maybe that's what a person should do before going any further with decorating. Here is another one with a Ukrainian theme. Little bits of fabric, some motifs off a, what do you call it, some trim, a satin ribbon. The rest is paper, and it's also on cardstock. So this one, too, should be sewn before, and I should probably actually put these on my sewing pile to remember to do that. Now, this one was done on a very cute little adding machine tape. I don't know what kind of a machine this would have been on, but when I saw them with their little vintage packaging, I thought I must own those. So it is, how wide is that? Probably 1.5 inches. So this is mostly paper, a little bit of cheesecloth, and then these motifs. So this is another one that should be sewn through now before anything more is added. This one, this one is done again on canvas. And you can see I must have had the same color thing in mind. Looks like I was on a gold, yellowy, well, gold, brown. So this one is also on canvas, and I see that I did stitch it around the edge and kind of wavy, couple of lines of stitching down the middle. And you can see, hopefully, just how long those stitches are. They're a good 1/16 of an inch long, or 1/8 even. This one is probably probably ready to use as is, so I really need to get on with it and start using these things instead of just admiring them. Okay, this one is paper on cardstock. Again, just, you know, a few little chipboard things that I usually if they're a little thicker, I usually peel off a few layers of the background. So that should be able to be stitched. Now this is the last one, and I will let you go. I really don't know. So this is interfacing or fusible web or something like that. It's thicker, obviously, than this. This is almost feels like stitch witchery or something, but I don't, doesn't feel like it's got a gluey back to it. Anyway, I don't know what the heck is going on here. This, like, what's with this thing? Pretty wild, I would say. So obviously that can be trimmed, or maybe it's spun around and it's supposed to be someplace else. I don't know what's going on. However, oh, and how come this seems to be upside down? I must have preferred that side. So I think this probably goes like so. So you can see that things do get, oh, you know what? It's got basting threads. I hand basted these things on and then ran a line of zigzag down the middle. So you can see I've got the interfacing, some brown paper. This is probably from an A&W bag. And then a piece of this wide yellow ribbon. So I guess, you know, now that I've tucked that in place, it doesn't look quite as weird to me. So clearly I must have had a plan. Maybe I was going to slow stitch something on here, or who knows. And I must have picked a more pastel, soft colorway. This, you can see this is quite different from all the others, but anyway, okay, so if we were to quiz you, what must you never, never, never make a snippet roll on? And the answer would be double-sided tape. I don't know if it was carpet tape, I don't know what it was, but it is evil. Anyway, that's all I need to say. Now, maybe what I could do I'm going to continue, because I am kind of committed to making some progress on the boho journal. I think I may have somebody interested in it, or in that style anyway. So I think what I'm going to do is continue decorating. So you'll probably see this one again. And if, I guess you can let me know in the comments. You can give me a little what for and say, come on, start using those things. Or you could tell me whether or not you want to see any further decoration. And for those of you who keep asking about my blush journal, I have not given up on it, or them, I mean. But, and you will know that I was slow stitching a snippet roll for that one as well. So that obviously needs some more attention, and, you know, that might be a good recovery type activity. Anyway, I'll figure out where this button came from, glue it back down, and yeah, I will stop there. In the meantime, I have to go find a new needle for my sewing machine. Thanks so much for being here, guys. I really appreciate it, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.